Hi, this is Jeff with Birder's Diary. In this video tutorial, I'm going to demonstrate the two forms of sightings entry available in Birder's Diary that make it by far the best and fastest entry available among listing programs. Most programs have these two forms of entry available, but it is the method and design used in Birder's Diary that makes the difference. First, however, I need to show you the essential ingredient that plays a big part in making sightings entry fast. It's called Smart Search in Birder's Diary. Many, not all, other listing programs have some form of this nowadays, and they function in the same way, but I'll show you how Birder's Diary versions may have the edge over the others. Smart Search allows you, the user, to enter names with a minimal amount of intuitive typing. Whether it is a location name, a bird name, or any other name in Birder's Diary that utilizes a Smart Search field. First, let me show you where to find more information on Smart Search fields in your user's guide. The first place to look is in the Quick Start Guide under the subtopic of Names, Names, Names. This topic may be of the most use, and it describes best use and practices for Smart Search fields. You'll find it quickly here under Help, Quick Start Guide. Up comes the user manual. Select Names, Names, Names. This article here gives you perhaps the best little tutorial. The second place is under the Features section in a subtopic called, appropriately, Smart Search Fields. So you open up the Features section and click on Smart Search Fields. This gives you some specific details about its use and features and capabilities. With that out of the way, let's demonstrate the use of Smart Search Fields. I'm going to use the Rosetta Stone feature. It has a thing name field on it that utilizes Smart Search. So I click to open the Rosetta Stone feature. How do we know it utilizes Smart Search? Because it has a light green background. I want you to also notice the status bar at the bottom of this window. When such a status bar is present on a window with a Smart Search field, it shows extra information about using the Smart Search field before use and while using. For example, right now notice that it is letting you know that Alt plus F1 will bring up quick help for Smart Search fields, so that if the focus is in the Smart Search field, pressing Alt plus F1 on your keyboard will result in a quick pop-up to remind you how to use this field. Let's see. Alt F1, and here it is. You notice you just have some quick details if you forget what works and how to use this. There's all the quick details. Anytime you're in a Smart Search field on any window, press Alt F1 for quick information. A quick note about matching in Smart Search fields. When typing into a Smart Search field, it first tries to do an exact match on what you have typed. If that fails, it tries to find the name that starts with exactly what you have typed. And finally, if that fails, it tries to find the name that contains the string you have typed in, anywhere in the name. Also note that any non-alphanumeric character, that means any character other than the digits 0 through 9 or letters A through Z, whether uppercase or lowercase, will be treated as a single character wildcard, meaning they will match any other character at that position, except for the special characters of space, asterisk, or semicolon. Each acts the same, so most folks just use a space character. When these letters are entered, they act as a replacement for any number of characters. So a space could act as a match on a missing single character or any number of characters. Let me demonstrate. Let's say I want to look up, using the Rosetta Stone, which taxonomic lists contain a green-winged teal and how they classify it. I could type out the entire name to get it as you see here. Green-winged space teal. Okay, pretty much had to type out the whole name. Or I could simply type the first two letters of each word in the name. GR space WI space TE, still not there yet, so go ahead and type an A, green-winged teal. I just typed 9 characters and saved myself a lot of typing. Please note the status bar at the bottom. It tells me how it matched and what I typed to get here. This helps alleviate some confusion when one is wondering what went wrong and why it isn't matching. Look in the status bar to see if it is what you think you typed. Here's another example, and what helps make the Smart Search field more powerful than others. When entering thing names, birds, mammals, etc., You can also enter scientific names and sometimes band codes. The delete key or the home key on your keyboard clears any Smart Search field. No need to hold down the backspace button and backspace over every other character. So I'll press the delete key now. Notice the status bar lets me know what I did. Let's say I'm looking for Anis creca. A-N space C-R-E, and I get Anis creca. Let's say I wanted the subspecies, carolinensis, space C-A-R-O, there's carolinensis. Press the lookup button, and up comes the cross-reference of this subspecies across all the taxonomic lists in my database that reference this thing, how they're classified and how they're named. Now that we have the basics out of the way as to what Smart Search is and how to use it, let's get on to Sightings Entry. So close the Rosetta Stone. To start a new Sightings Entry session, you can either press F2 on your keyboard, press the green plus icon in the toolbar, or use the menu system by clicking on Toolbar, then Sightings, then Add Sightings. Most folks just use the toolbar icon or press F2. So I'll open it up now. There are two basic approaches to Sightings Entry. Keyboard entry, where the user is not presented with a tabular checklist of names, and checklist entry, where the user is presented with a tabular checklist of names. Let's start with keyboard entry by selecting the entry method right here, keyboard entry. The next thing you'll want to do is to filter the names that are recognized in keyboard entry by location. Choose either a country or a state province here. Choosing a lower level will produce no names unless you have set up the checklist data yourself for that location. So I'm going to choose Colorado here, as I live in Colorado. Now you can also choose what names the Smart Search field on the entry form will recognize. You can choose from common and scientific names as well as band codes. I like to use either common or scientific. And since I don't know band codes, I leave that turned off. This window will remember your last settings. All that's left to do is to choose the taxonomic list you want to use. I will enter sightings for some birds and mammals in my backyard in this example. I have them already selected. We click Continue, and up comes the Sightings Entry window for the keyboard method. First, let me show you a nice feature, arranging the fields on this form to meet my needs. I don't like the default layout. I usually enter the location, trip, date, time, and observer up front, and don't change them when I'm entering a bunch of sightings. So let's move those up front. I also don't use the All Comments field in keyboard mode, so I'm going to hide that. I just like to enter names, perhaps some comments, and the count. So let's do that with this Show Hide button on the upper right. Click on this. I don't like to use all comments, so I'm going to get rid of that. I like name down before counts. I like comments down after name. I'll usually add comments before I'll add counts. Now this puts everything else up top. Location, trip, date, time, observers. Usually I'll select the observers right off the start for that session. And perhaps the location will change occasionally. So I'll keep that next to name, just above name. So it's set the observers, trip, date, time, location, and I'm ready to go. You can see what's over here that I've hidden, and so on. Now I have this arranged the way I like, and it will always remember this until you come and change it again. Click on OK, and you'll note how things have changed. So I select my observer, a trip if I have one, the date and time today, the location. We'll call it Colorado since I'm using a sample database and haven't set up my home in it yet. Now, all that's left is to enter sightings for what I've seen today. I tab down to the name field. I'm going to type in housefinch. There it is, just simple typing. Notice the status bar down below. It showed me what I typed so far and how it matched. Okay? That's all I want to enter. I don't have any comments on a housefinch, common bird around here. Maybe if I want to set counts or not, I'll do it. But for now, that's all I want. So just press return here. Notice that add sighting button is the default. So I press return on the housefinch. I get notified this is the first sighting of a housefinch in the world. Well, that's because I'm sample. I'm going to turn off notifications now in this of lifers, annual lifers, location lifers. and just get back to entering sightings. Also saw a Cassin's finch. Notice I typed C-A-S-F-I. Enter. Steller's jay. Enter. White-breasted nuthatch. Enter. Notice I only entered 5 characters there. What else do I have? I have a Eurasian collared dove. Enter. Mountain chickadee. Enter. Black-capped chickadee. Pay attention to what I'm typing down here at the bottom in the status bar. Enter. Pine siskin. Enter. Evening grosbeak. All I had to type was EVE actually to get there. Enter. Let's pretend there's a northern goshawk, which is one hanging around usually, but I don't see him right now. Mourning dove. And you just rip through all of them just that way, only typing in a few characters. Nothing changed. I'm still at home. Sample observer still me. Date time still me. And whenever you click enter or the button add sighting, the focus always returns to the name field, ready for the next name, no matter where you've put the name field. Oh, I haven't entered in an A-bear squirrel. There it is. Let me add a comment to that. This is my squirrel sighting. Now, when in the comments field, pressing enter just starts a new line. If you want to go ahead and add the sighting from there, use the accelerator, the Alt-S, to auto-click the Add Sighting button. Added it. We also had mule deer in my backyard. I'm even going to set the counts on that because there were 4 exactly. Add the sighting. So just that quick, I can just rifle off all those sightings. That is how to enter sightings in the keyboard mode. Okay, let's have a little fun. I've got my home life list here of 79 species that I've seen here at home over the years. I want to see how many species I can enter in 30 seconds. Sounds like a good benchmark. So let's have fun and let's do that. I'll start a timer here and then I'll go. Okay, and I'll just rifle right down this life list. Okay, Rufus hummingbird, Steller's jay, American robin, pine siskin, Cassin's finch, house finch, evening grosbeak, dark-eyed junco, pygmy nuthatch, hairy woodpecker, pine grosbeak, mountain chickadee, red-breasted nuthatch, and that's it. Okay, 30 seconds and we got 13 sightings entered. That's a little better than 2.5 seconds per sighting. That's pretty fast. Okay, that's fun with keyboard entry method. Let's get rid of this and go take a look at checklist entry. Click on the close button, that closes. Let's open up Sightings Entry again by clicking on the plus sign. This time we're going to choose checklist entry. Get a few different options with checklist entry. We're going to stick with the location filter of Colorado. We're going to sort taxonomically and just use the checklist style. Same 2 taxonomic lists as before. Click continue and it will build the tabular checklist for us. Okay, and there it is. It's just a tabular checklist that most everyone's familiar with in taxonomic order, as I chose that sort order from top to bottom. Okay, and as with keyboard sightings, we go ahead and enter in some data we're used to. Colorado, there's no trip associated with this. I'm not going to enter in all comments for all sightings, and sample observer is selected. Now, what you would typically do here is you might just go down through here and say, okay, I saw a tundra swan. We get notified right here. And I'm just going to turn off notifications. That was a lifer in sample for sample. And what you might do is just go down through here and check off some things. Maybe write in a miscellaneous comment or 2. Saw this, there, something like that. And continue going down your list. This is especially useful if you've got a paper checklist in front of you that is in taxonomic order. And so you just looking at your paper checklist and scrolling down and going through that. Another way to accomplish this is to, let's say, check in the min count field. Use your left arrow key on your keyboard to arrow over to the scene column and use that to scroll up and down. The next thing you do is, let's say we saw a green winged teal. Press the space bar to check it. Checked. Go on down. Surf Scooter, saw that. Press the space bar. It's checked and the counts are set to 1 by default. If you want something other than a count of 1, tab over, specify 4. Let's say I saw 4 harlequin ducks. Tab over. It automatically sets the max count to the same as the min if it's lesser. But let's say I saw 4 to 8, so I'm going to enter that in. Okay, great. Arrow key down, arrow back over to the scene column, and keep going down. Another way to do this is, instead of using the scene column in the checkbox, just arrow up and down using the arrow keys on your keyboard and enter a number. Let's say I saw 2 long-tailed ducks. Put 2. Enter down, arrow down. I saw 3 buffalo heads. 3. Arrow down. Notice it automatically checks it and sets the max count equal to the min count. Go on down. I saw 18 ruddy ducks. Okay, arrow down. 4 chuckers, arrow down, and just keep going down. And you can enter signs like this, especially helpful if you're reading off of a checklist you took out in the field. And you just go down through it sequentially from top to bottom. Make sure you don't miss anything. Now let me show you another very neat feature here that uses Smart Search in checklist mode. Notice the field here with the binocular button to the right and an X with an underscore on it to the left. It's light green. The background is light green, indicating it is a Smart Search field. Maybe I don't want to use the arrow keys or the mouse to click scene and all this. Maybe I want to enter sightings differently, or I want to search for the species I'm after. So we're going to do this like before. In order to get to that search field from anywhere, all you have to do is press Alt-X. Now you're in that search field and you can see the cursor blinking in it. Let's type in Stellar's J. Press Enter. There it is. Stellar's J was selected, count set to 1, and you're ready for the next one. But the focus has now moved to the checkbox. So if you want to change the count, you don't have to go back to the mouse. Use your arrow key. Change it to 2. Let's say I saw 2 to 4. Not sure. Min was 2, max was 4. Comments, saw at my feeder. That's great. I want the next bird now. What do? You press Alt-X. Evening grosbeak. Just that fast. Just type in EVE. Press Enter. It scrolls to evening grosbeak. It checks it. It sets the count to 1. You don't want to change anything else about that? That's fine. Alt-X again for the next bird. Blue jay. Press Enter. It's selected. Pheasant. Press Enter. The ringneck pheasant is selected. Pheasant is an alias for ringneck pheasant. Alt-X. Arctic loon. And now if I look down, I didn't get what I expected. If I look down into the status bar, I can see that I mistyped. Press the delete key. Press the delete key on the keyboard to clear the field. This time ARC space LO. Oh, there we go. Now I get Arctic loon. It's selected. Alt-X back to that field. Pine siskin. Hit Enter. It's selected. Okay, I saw 14 of those at my feeder. Let's enter the next bird. Alt-X. Bobwhite quail. There we go. We enter it. Oh, remember my squirrels. I had an A-bear squirrel. There it is. Press Enter. The mammal taxonomy is down at the bottom of the avian taxonomy that we selected. And that's it. It's that fast to enter in sightings in checklist mode. If you want to review the sightings checked off before you add all these sightings, you can use the Review button, which changes and shows you the species you've added. Uncheck that and add the sightings. Clear the list, close the window. That's it. This is Jeff with Birder's Diary. I hope you found this informative and helpful. Thank you.